Good morning, everybody. Happy Easter. Turn to the person next to you and just say, I'm so glad that you're here today and you look good. Yes, I'm going on a trip and I'm packing my bag and I'm taking an apple, a banana. Remember that game that we used to play as kids? You know, where we had to do the whole alphabet and you went around the room? Maybe you never played that, but that's what we did. It was so fun. Well, my name is Ryan Maloof and you already met my smoking hot wife. We are the lead pastors of this great church and we want to welcome you home. We believe at Expression Church that we respond to this incredible love of God to His Son, Jesus Christ. That as He gave His Son, we get to respond to Him. So you're right. You're amongst people who are kind of crazy. And we love life. And as we discover who we are by His grace, we learn to live on purpose through His Spirit. And there's something about just being in community that changes that. So I want to invite you that maybe this is your first time joining us. Just stick around. Keep coming back. You're going to find that you're around a group of people that are fun and full of life, and we just tend to believe the best towards each other, which I don't know about you, that's a sure fun place to be, because I have been around people that always assume the worst. But listen, it's so great to be together, and I just want to spend a few moments just sharing a few things with you about this glorious day that we celebrate called Easter. And yes, I have a suitcase, and yes, we are the church that does a lighted cross so that when you close your eyes, your retinal is burnt. Just to keep it so that you don't mess up when you leave, right? We're just going to stay with you. So he's just like, I can't get the cross out of my eyes. Yeah, well, you know, it's all intentional. We're just trying to help you, you know. Bless the Lord. But traveling these days it's a whole can of worms that I don't think we really understand but it's a necessity, right? Like whenever we go traveling and we have to hop on an airplane, there's all this energy that goes into our bags. Our bags are so personal. You know, I'm not quite sure why we go to Costco and buy the luggage there, because 12 million other people just bought the same one. But we feel so personal about the luggage that we share with 12 million other people. You know, we might add a little something to it just to make it so that it's just ours and ours alone. But it's really the contents that makes the luggage so unique. You know, 3.4 ounces is not easy to figure out these days. Because, you know, we go to Amazon and we want to buy the biggest product we can of the stuff that we like. And then all of a sudden we realize we can't take it with us. And it only takes once that you take it with you. And then you take it with you on your carry-on. And all of a sudden then the guy behind the counter is like, I'm so glad you get to leave that with me. That $100, you know, cologne that you purchased, that you finally found, the 1 cent that you love. I just had a guy text me and he's like, man, I went into the store and I bought some cologne and I put it on and I got in my car and I was like, man, this just feels so familiar. I just feel like someone's with me that I really like. And then he goes, I realized it's the same cologne that Pastor Ryan wears. I was like, bro, I'm with you, man. I get to stay with you all the time. And so, you know, you spend so much time trying to figure out the contents, and, you know, you get that one shirt that you like that you can wear with multiple outfits, and you got the pair of pants that you can wear. And there's, well, for me, because I wear a size 12, that there's only one shoe I can fit in the carry-on, where my wife can fit 15, but I get to fit one, right? So I got to wear one, and then I got to take one, and then you got the jacket and and what ends up happening, too, is you got to go to the store and get all the bottles that you can put all your stuff in, because you never know where you're going to wind up that you might need something. So that bag is so personal. I've spent so much time preparing for the trip. Maybe you're one of those people that last minute, you just kind of throw it together and wing it. But I don't do that. I like planning and thinking because my products are just for me. You know, I got the right hair gel that just coiffs my hair just perfectly. And my wife, she buys the big hairsprays that you can't get the small versions of that. So what do? I don't want to go to CVS when I land. I want what I want. So then I end up taking big suitcases just because of the hairspray. I know, I'm sharing parts of my life with you that you shouldn't know, but it's true. And then you know what's funny is you spend all this time getting everything in the suitcase and personalizing it, making it sure that the 12 million other people that went to Costco and bought the same one don't grab yours. And you get off the plane and you walk, and maybe you had to check it because everything was full or you already planned on checking it, but you show up at the gate and you check it. And I always do because I'm always afraid that my bag's going to have to go in front of me. I'm 6'4". I can't have anything down below. I already feel like my knees are up to my ears and there's a permanent indentation on the front seat in front of me. Where my wife's like, she's all nestled and asleep in a matter of seconds because there's nothing around her. It just feels like it's home sitting in a big luxury chair. Or I already feel like I'm about to die. So I for sure check mine if the opportunity comes for free because, that's awesome. But, there's still that feeling. You get off the plane, you find baggage check, you go down and you just start watching the myriad of luggage going by. Is this the day? You would never say it out loud, but you have this panic feeling deep inside. And you see luggage after luggage. I thought I bought that one piece that was so personal. I didn't know that so many people had the same exact ones. My wheels might just be slightly off, different, but, nope, that's the same one. Oh, here it is. Oh, nope. Their tag's a little different than mine. I thought my aqua ribbon would have taken care of it, but they went for teal, and now we look the same. And inevitably, there's this moment where you find your bag. Now the trip's good, right? Like you can begin. There's something about our bags that we take so personal. Each one of us actually have a bag that we carry with us that we don't even realize we carry. It goes everywhere we go. We actually can't even let go of it. It's called brokenness. It's a bag that we carry that we've made personal through our life experiences that we've added to it. And because of that, it's changed the dynamic of our relationships. We were made as people to be people who enjoy relationship with God and each other, but because of brokenness and that which has been done to us causes us to do it to others, even when our best efforts try to change it. For many, it's become an opportunity for religion, right? If I just find the right religion and I talk to the one Buddhist monk, or maybe it's an opportunity that I pray this one prayer or do this one thing, that it'll help make this less because it impacts me everywhere I go. But in our best efforts, it seems to infiltrate everything that I do. And maybe you're a parent here today and you've heard your parents say to you things and you said to yourself, I'll never say that to my children. And then all of a sudden your child pushes that one button. I don't know how they do it, but they find the one that I hid so deep down inside. And I hear my parents' words coming out of my mouth. Curse you, luggage. I so want a better marriage than maybe those around me have had, and yet I still find that I'm living in that place where my brokenness always seems to hit my wife in the weirdest opportunities. I'm 6'4", so every now and then when I do this, her head is just in the perfect position, and I'm like, oh, babe, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were there. But that's what brokenness does. It keeps us from being able to walk in the best intended opportunity because of fear, because of something that took place in our life. We were born with it. We didn't even recognize it or realize it, but we've all been born with this bag called brokenness. It started with Adam and Eve in the garden who turned their back on God, and that rebellion entered the world, and all of us were born with a level of brokenness because hurt people hurt people. And no matter how hard we try and no matter what direction we go or self-help book we read, we still seem to find ourselves trying to anesthetize it, trying to medicate ourselves. If I could just just hide myself. And so we go into a seclusion. We go into secret. We find ourselves in those places trying to make us feel better about ourselves. So maybe we go on the internet, or we look for an opportunity to buy something, or we just wish that we could have another life through Facebook or Instagram. Or we watch Access Hollywood and see the lives of others living in the fast lane and wishing that was us. There's a man in the Bible that I believe is very similar to us, and that he wound up in a place that he didn't intend to because of the bag that he carried around with him. He probably didn't realize it, but we're introduced to this man by the name of Barabbas early on in the Bible, as we see that this man finds himself in prison and awaiting execution because of what he has caused. You see, Barabbas started a riot against Rome to overthrow their tyranny of the Jews in Jerusalem. And in the midst of this insurrection, he ends up murdering someone. And he's caught, and he's judged, and now he's awaiting execution in prison. This is Barabbas. And you only can wonder, the Bible doesn't paint the background, but as I know human nature, what was it that caused him to come to this place that he might have not even realized that he was there? Maybe it was because when he was a young child, his mom had boyfriends that were in and out of the house, and each one of those boyfriends treated him and his siblings or his mother in certain ways, and he hated the thought that anyone would have control over his life. And so as he got older, that baggage from the hurt people hurting him began to dictate the way he walked in his life. Maybe it was because of his father. Maybe he had strong political views, but they never had much connection. And in his desperation to have a connection with his father, he went radical, hoping that his dad would see and there would be this man connection with something that was broken and lost, because we were all meant to have beautiful relationship, significant, meaningful relationship with God and each other. But we find that our baggage always seems to get in way. No matter how hard we paint it, no matter how beautiful we make it, no matter how many people we talk to about it, it always seems to creep up. So leading to this moment where Barabbas finds himself in prison awaiting his execution, there's two other prisoners that are with him that scholars say were probably a part of this moment, this insurrection that happened in Rome. And there was a man by the name of Pontius Pilate who oversaw the Jerusalem and the Jews in navigating Rome and its rule with those that were religious leaders of Israel. The religious leaders bring Jesus, they arrest him and they bring Jesus to Pontius Pilate because they ultimately want Jesus dead. Because they could not handle the way this man talked, the way he walked in this world. He was unlike anything they could control. They could not control his love. They could not control the way his relationships with the most unlikely people. They could not put boundaries around the way he communicated. And most assuredly, he says he was the Son of the living God. That was the final straw. This man claims to be the Messiah. So they arrest Jesus and they bring him before Pontius Pilate with one intention: kill this man. So Pontius Pilate, he checks out, he sees, he talks to Jesus, and he continues to try to figure out what he should do. And so as he comes to the conclusion, he realizes that this man is innocent. He has done nothing but to appease the Roman leaders the Jewish leaders. He has to kind of work that relationship. So he says, well, I'm going to go ahead and beat and scourge Jesus. And they took strips of leather and wound metal into it. And basically, when they were done, you couldn't even recognize him. And so now Jesus is standing there and he's like, listen, this man has done nothing. I find him innocent, but I've had him beaten for you. You see that I'm for you. Now let's let him go because he's done nothing wrong. And the crowd yells, crucify him. Now, Barabbas in a cell, contemplating what maybe I can only imagine, contemplating what's got him here, thinking about his journey and how it didn't turn out the way he thought. Maybe like you this morning, you felt that in your life. I saw this thing going so different. And you feel yourself almost in a prison, locked down and not even sure how to get out. Trying everything desperately to crawl out of this place that you find yourself in. And no matter how hard you try, the doors seem to be locked. There's this movement outside of his cell. As he sits there and wonders, I wonder what's going on. And a guard begins to walk towards his cell, pulls out the key, unlocks the door, and opens it. They walk in and they undo the shackles and begin to walk him out. And he's wondering to himself, I can only imagine, what now? Why would they be walking me out? My execution hasn't happened yet. Is this the last meal? Are they going to talk to me some more? Do they want to know more details about those who are involved? And he finds himself coming through a hallway maybe and coming into this large area where there's this man who he can barely recognize standing there in front of a crowd with Pontius Pilate and religious leaders. And he's trying to navigate in his mind, trying to catch up to what's already taking place. Maybe that's how you felt this morning at church. As you walked into this room and the music is loud and it's dark and you see people maybe with their hands lifted and people up front jumping up and down and you're like, what is going on? As your mind is trying to race, what is happening? I didn't expect church to be like this. This is crazy. No wonder they're called Expression Church. And so Pontius Pilate again says, I want to release Jesus. He's innocent. He says that word over and over again. And the crowd yells back, crucify him and give us Barabbas. You see, Pontius Pilate thought that he could bring Barabbas out and they would see such an evil, wicked man. They would certainly pick Jesus over Barabbas. He was known in those parts as so much of his life as one who did bad things. So he went and grabbed the worst and brought him out and put him next to Jesus, thinking that the crowd would say, of course, give us Jesus. He's innocent. Barabbas, nobody wants him back into society. His brokenness is too extreme. We can't handle what he is. Pontius Pilate's moment that he thought would work out actually backfired as the crowd continued to shout, crucify Jesus and free Barabbas. His hand clutched to the bag he has carried his whole life. He now stands in a moment that he didn't even work towards. He never thought in a million years that he would be in a place of such favor and such bizarre circumstance as where he stands now. I thought I had to work harder at this. I thought I needed to pay more penance for my guilt and shame of what I've done. As he realizes Jesus standing there, Jesus doesn't fight it. He doesn't try to say to the crowd, do you have any idea who this person is? Because if he did, he would be condemning us all. But instead, Jesus knew where he was headed and that there would be this extraordinary exchange for all humanity. That in their moment of their prison where they could no longer find a way out or release themselves from the baggage they carried because hurt people, because of what we've experienced and what we have and just what we were born with, that we always seem to want to go the opposite of where we need to go. Why is it I find myself in this cycle? My best intentions may last for a moment, but I take with me the rest of my life. And all of a sudden, so Pilate, there's no narrative in the Bible, but I'm just playing it out for you. So, do I need to work it off? Is there some program I need to do? No, he's taking your place. You just get to go free. I've had it with me my whole life. I thought I would connect to my dad better, whatever it was. But there's something about grace that messes us up. There's something about this exchange. To let go, it's become my identity. It's who I thought I was. If you could only hear the thoughts of Jesus. I'm about to give every single person who believes in me a new identity, not based on their baggage, but based on me. With his hand lighter. The Bible gives no account of what happens to Barabbas after, but really doesn't matter. The point is that he got to go scot-free. I think we want to know, did he become a doctor and save lives? Right? Like, that would make us feel better. The hoodlum that he was. Was he the guy that, made the cure for cancer and changed the world? That makes sense. But for a murderer and no record, I actually am grateful there's no record, because I don't need to know. Because if he's like me, he continues to make mistakes, wanting to go back to his old identity and pick it up. And yet he wrestled with this idea that he's been set free from it. When you ask Jesus into your life, he sets you free from it. But if you've been in this for any time at all, this is what we do. Hey, look over there. Oh, there you are. I missed you. Look at this verse. If we could have the... No, yes, that's what I meant. Romans 5, 6 through 11. Christ arrives right on time to make this happen. He didn't and doesn't wait for us to get ready. He presented himself for the sacrificial death when we were far too weak and rebellious to do anything to get ourselves ready. And even if we hadn't been so weak, we wouldn't have known what to do anyway. We can understand someone dying for a person worth dying for. We can understand how someone like Gandhi would show us how to be noble and be inspired for selfless sacrifice. But God, that was an addition. I know it doesn't say that. I was just adding that. You're like, where is that? What's he reading from? But God put his love on the line for us by offering his Son in sacrificial death while we were of no use whatever to him. Now that we were set right with God by means of this sacrificial death, the consummate blood sacrifice, there is no longer a question of being at odds with God in any way. This relationship has changed what we couldn't do. If when we were at our worst, we were put on friendly terms with God by this sacrificial death of his Son, now that we're at our best, just think of how our lives will expand and deepen by means of this resurrection life. And you thought we were just going to have a little play this morning. Watch this being played out on the screen.
There is a moment where we become conscious of the world around us. Our eyes opened to the awareness of life, those by our side, and where we fall in the grand scheme of it. At some point, we realize that innately deep within us there is a lingering consequence of the fall of Eden. There is something that lies within us and entered into the world with us, a nature, not to do good, but to stray and wander from the hands that created us. It is this nature that beckons men to wage wars, that invites people into greed and lust, and that persuades us into darkness. And because this nature is not limited to one person or people group, but shared with every living soul who ever was or will be, its effects can be overwhelming. It is the baggage we were born with, that no matter how many times we try to do good, no matter how many times we apologize, despite the promise to try harder, do better, our fingers cling tight to the strap of this weight and we try to push on. Unable to let go or put it down, we become disillusioned. And what we thought could be something we simply took with us through life becomes something that inhibits life itself. We make decisions we can't take back. We hurt the ones we hold dear. We compromise ourselves to please or impress others. And after a while, not only are we aware of the baggage we're holding on to, but also the gaping hole its effects are creating within us. And because this is not an isolated experience, but shared with all mankind, we too are being hurt, betrayed. Hope is being lost, disappointment is taking hold, and all the while adding to what we carry, making the load unbearable. But there is something else we carry, knitted into the fibers of our being, a faint memory of the soul, where we have come from, an ember of eternity quietly glowing that like a beacon draws us to a place and point in time where we might once again realize those hands that formed us in the heart of love that inspired our existence. See, the church is not what you may have thought. It is not the world's morality police, and it is not a closed club for the fundamentally pure. It is that place of hope where we can come with everything we've been holding on to for so long and realize that holding out to us is acceptance and love by those that have been accepted and loved by God. And God is not who you may have thought. Built into humanity is a choice, He does not demand but invites. He does not condemn but saves. And the baggages we carry, no matter the shape, size, or quantity, do not deter him, nor did it slow him down in his pursuit of us. The goodness of God is not contingent on our ability to lay down or let go of our weights. It is only contingent on the cross, and the cross has made a way. Though finished at Calvary, the victory was won at the outset of time and space because it was always his intention to seek and save the lost. It is his goodness that leads us to repentance. He doesn't demand it or require it because God does not need to persuade us. We only need to taste. Taste and see that he is good. And all of a sudden, unintentionally and without realizing it, in light of his goodness and mercy, our knuckles begin to loosen, our fingers begin to open, and that which we've held for so long, that which has held us for so long, we begin to release. Not because we have to give to get, but because our God has so much in store. We need both hands to hold it.